everybody, this is Ray, back from a very long slumber. I just wanted to talk today about something that's been on my mind for a while, and that is sexual harassment. Now, I've noticed that a lot of early trans girls, and I was certainly one of them, have said things like, is it bad that part of me really cannot wait to be harassed by a man or be catcalled or, to otherwise be treated, like society treats women, which is poorly, in order to feel validated about my gender. And I just really wanted to unpack that a bit because I think the tendency to think that is because it's so easy to think like, oh, someone has properly gendered me. That means that this person is a good person. But if this person is generally a good person, then how can I trust that they're gendering me properly because I'm passing as a cisgender person of my actual gender and not because, they're just a good person, they're trying to be nice. So the tendency is to think, oh, well, if someone who is a bad person, someone who catcalls women, who harasses women, if someone like that acknowledges that I'm a woman by victimizing me like he would a cisgender woman, that definitely means I pass. And while I understand the logic of that, the reality is, at least in my experience, that whatever validation you might feel in that moment is immediately like ripped away by just feeling shitty. There's been several times fairly recently in the past few years after my surgeries, after being on hormones for a while, where men have treated me like a cis woman, which means like shit. I've been propositioned outside the car by people in cars. I've been followed by men around retail areas. I was actually with my brother, so that's good. I got followed even though there was a man who I ostensibly belonged to. That's not a great feeling. That's like double scary, actually, because this guy's apparently very obsessive. I've had guys walking by me staring at my cleavage. I had this one guy as I was walking by him on an escalator to the subway say, damn, them some big ass titties, I want to suck on them titties, which, looking back on it, that's hilarious. That's a hilarious thing to say to another human being. But at the time it was very scary, actually. And most recently, like a month ago, I was at a doctor's appointment, and during his examination, he started rubbing my shoulders, and he started talking about like, oh, hey, where do you work? And I said, oh, I work retail. And he's like, oh, where? And I was like, okay, I work at a clothing store. And he's like, well, yeah, but where? And I was like, is this doctor seriously asking me where my fucking store is? Like, that's not great. That's not professional. I actually reported him for sexual harassment. I was told due to it being a personnel matter, they can't tell me anything, but which he then said, but rest assured, upper management has been notified. I got the impression that he's probably going to be fired, which that's a subject for another video, I guess. Anyway, also at work, I got called honey by this one old man, which is like, fair enough. He's old, but he also touched me, which was not okay. So the guy was like, oh, I could kiss you, which was weird. I don't know how to classify that. But anyway, my point is I've experienced a lot of sexual harassment after transitioning. So I can assure you that it gets old fast. And I know what you're thinking, like this seems like such a obvious barrier, like people aren't going to hit on obviously trans people like that. They're just going to call him tranny or him or whatever. So like, what can I trust that I'm passing as cis? Because I think we all know that passing as cis is actually, I wouldn't say it's necessary to being trans, but it does help you feel safer. I say safer because, you know, when you're a trans woman, being safe, it means passing as a cis woman, which honestly isn't that safe to begin with. You're just less likely to be attacked for being trans, which is great, but then you're going to be attacked for being a cis woman, which it's not quite a lateral move, but a bit of a lateral move. So how do you gauge, like, oh, am I passing or not? I would say instead you should look towards your cis female compatriots. I'm lucky. I have, since transitioning, taken classes, one-on-one language classes with a Japanese teacher. 私の日本語は下手になりました。But still, I mean, we would talk about things and we would, you know, bond and develop very typical female friendship. Like, she treated me just like any other woman because that's what she saw me as. At work, female customers ask me questions that they definitely wouldn't ask a man, and they certainly probably wouldn't ask a transgender woman. So, you know, and my coworkers also have conversations with me or around me that they wouldn't feel comfortable about having these conversations with or near men, you know, usually involving periods or even abusive relationship stuff. Like, that's some stuff that you're not really going to share near men unless you're like really close to them. And women generally you're more open to. So I would say, rather than looking towards men abusing you as a sign, I would look towards women accepting you. Because, like, I don't want to say that cis women accepting you as a trans woman necessarily means that, like, they're going to treat you differently, but more often than not, they kind of do. Like, offering to teach you to do all sorts of stereotypically feminine things that you may or may not have any interest in doing, or maybe you already know how to do. Like, that sort of thing. I've encountered people like that, and that's fine. But that's just not generally how female relationships really work. So, like, rather than looking towards abusive men, I would say definitely look towards positive female relationships. And you will find yourself not only feeling better, but also when things like that do happen, you don't try to convince yourself that, oh, actually, that was good what happened to me, because now at least I know. Because you're just treating yourself poorly at that point. You're just apologizing for this other person treating you terribly because, like, well, at least I know now. Like, oh, at least I know. Like, no, that's not a good thing to be telling yourself. It's something I used to tell myself, but at this point it's like, no. So that would be my advice. So, you know, if you like this video, and you want to see other videos similar to this where I talk about, you know, transgender issues, my experience, just general vlogging maybe, I don't know, whatever you want to see, like leave it in the comments, subscribe, like this video. Jesus Christ, this is my first YouTube video since that frickin' makeup tutorial I made 2 years ago, and here I am saying like, comment, and subscribe so I'm gonna get followers. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe.